important reminder. All information and ideas are for informational purposes only and are in no way intended as medical advice or as a substitute for medical counseling. Earthshift Products, Dr. Robert Cassar, all of their partners, affiliates, and subsidiaries will not be held accountable for the use or misuse of the information presented therein. This information is not intended as medical advice. The authors, publishers, and speakers of this work are not medical doctors and do not recommend the use of mineral-deficient foods, drugs, or medicines to achieve beauty and to alleviate health challenges. Because there is always some risk involved, all persons involved with the development and distribution of this information are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences of any kind resulting from the use or misuse of any suggestions or procedures described on our website or Earthshift Live radio talk show or therein.
That's your eternal birthright. And then from there, you can open your awareness to connect with the eternal all around you. It just keeps going and going and going and going. And it's all a wonder. And there you've got stability. But if you don't have that center, and that center's not full of that consciousness, you start, it's like, whoa, it's too much. It's way too much. And we just spin out like gyroscopes. We just spin out and we go knocking into everything. And our lives are a mess. And we do it in cycles. And it comes around again, and comes around again, and comes around again. Soul consciousness. Next slide, please, my dear. Look at this. So remember, the subject is, what does it mean to us, the eternal and the infinite, as you, as human beings, superheroes in the world, demonstrations, embodiments of a higher way, who have hit that level of self-love, self-acceptance, forgiveness, and understand about connection with life and radiate out blessings everywhere you go. What it means is, life is your playground, your imagination. Whatever you want to create, it's up to you. It doesn't have to be concrete boxes and black smoke and parasites and chemicals and crazy shit. It can be anything you want. And what they're all telling us is it's coming down, the seeds that you're sowing right now, every single day, every moment of every day, every breath you take, every thought you think, every feeling you have, every vibration you emanate is planting, is defining what's going to grow out of that seed after 2012 or whenever it is. But it's going down. So you better be creating the garden of your dreams and having the ability to do that. So notice, one thing is dreaming, but another thing is being able to make it happen. Bringing it down into these three. Breathing that light, breathing that love, breathing it in here. Purifying that physicality. Bringing peace into the family, into the ancestral realm. Bringing peace into every aspect of your lives. Forgiving yourself, forgiving your relationships. Making peace everywhere. Freeing up, following your intuition. And then, you can have unicorns. Next slide, please. The energy of life. That's what we're into. That's a cacao bean, by the way. David Wolfe likes to talk about those. The energy of life. That's what we're into. Gabriel Cousins talks about the culture of death. Every choice you make in the day, if you're able to choose, if you're not being driven by the madness in your soul, by the negativity in your psyche, by the distortions in your mind, by the emotional chaos, by the parasites in your physicality, if you have the ability to consciously choose, every choice has massive consequences. And it's going to bring you into alignment and harmony with the culture of life or the culture of death. It's up to you. There's plenty of examples of the living dead in the world. It's replete with them. It's a great wonder. Because in those little bubbles of consciousness where this reality is, remember how tiny that earth was compared to those big things? It just goes on and on and on and on and on. How tiny are these little bubbles of consciousness in that? It's minuscule, ridiculously small. Pop that bubble with love. This is the electricity you need to get out if you want to change it. It needs to be alive. It's a good deal. It's the best deal in town. I'm not knocking being dead, don't get me wrong. But the living dead, stay away from that topic. Not happening. Okay, bro, next slide, please. Where are we going? Yes, connection, connectivity. You know? Artist's impression. Alex Gray. Have a look. Think about it. Meditate on it. Contemplate it. Contemplating infinity, Jesus talks about in Love Without End, Jesus speaks. Get your mind plugged into infinity. But always within you first. Before you start messing with what's all around you. Next slide, please. Magnificent consciousness shimmering. Life is so responsive. You know, the reason why we're so sensitive is because life's so sensitive. It's got you. It's got you. Don't doubt it. No. Where are you going to go? Even when you're dead, you're still alive. Anybody that's, I've studied like 500 near-death studies. I've had several near-death experiences. I've been as close to death as I would enjoy going at the moment. And all the near-death studies that I've studied, like 500 of them, they've all got a story. Consciousness is going on, awareness is going on, I'm still having an experience. Life's got you. What's the next slide, please? History repeats itself generation after generation because of judgment and denial, which create ruptures in the flow of life. Remember these words. Anybody that can write them down, write them down. The universe fills the ruptures quickly with the very things your objections deny. Love Without End, Jesus speaks. History repeats itself generation after generation. We are stuck in patterns going around and around and around. Little ones that come round every month. Big ones that come round every hundreds of thousands of years, whatever. You talk about the yugas. Some of what they say how long a yuga is in Sanskrit stuff. You know, it's like, all it does is it's just a stock record that comes around, and we have the golden age, and everybody's happy and everybody's wonderful, and then we go down into the degradation of materialism and blah, 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 blah. But Jesus says, in Love Without End, Jesus speaks, you are not stuck in anything. How can infinite consciousness be stuck in anything? How can the eternal flow of infinite possibility be stuck in anything? It's only because we're attached to it through judgment and denial. Judgment and denial create ruptures in the flow of life, and the universe fills those ruptures with the very things your objection is denied. Isn't that a trick? That's amazing. I've done so much meditation on that quote. I love that quote. Shows you how the whole thing works. You want to rise in grace, move out of judgment and denial. Judgment is, Goliath is a big, ugly monster. And I'm not going anywhere near it. Denial is, what are you on about Goliath? It doesn't even exist. It's just a story. Denial is there's nothing going on, you know, it's like everything's sweet. Politicians are cool, everything's alright, Uncle Sam's taking care of me, God bless her. We're not into judgment or denial, we're into something else. What are we into, brother? Give us the next quote. If we want to shift out of this stuff that we're creating and that we're stuck in, if we want to carry on, if we want to go around again, if we want to do all that, you know, stay in judgment and denial. Huang Po, he's a legend. Never mistake outward appearance for reality. Anyone seen that video of me carrying an Aru on my back over those broken glass bottles?
Oh, yeah.
Not many people have. Check out my website. I got a £250 Maori healer warrior on my back, walking over a bed of broken glass bottles, really gnarly, sharp, razor sharp, big heels of glass, about 12 feet long, in my bare feet, with him on my back, just crunching all over those broken glass bottles, singing Hallelujah.
You even weighed him to show everybody he really was 250 pounds, because that's a lot of weight.
Never mistake outward appearance for reality. And the first step on the glass, first time I'd done it, first step on the glass, the cameraman's gone, what do you want me to do? What? Like this. And I let a bit of my focus go onto the cameraman, and a razor sharp piece of glass went straight into my heel. Straight in. And that just brought me, just ran into it. And he was just lifted by grace all the way. And you can hear it. Never mistake outward appearance for reality, no matter what. No matter what. Connect with the deeper through the feeling. Next slide, please, my dear.